those who don't know me or haven't done an art class with me before, my name is Chantelle, and today we are working on acrylic portraits in Picasso style. So I hope you all have close by your paintbrushes and maybe a few various different sizes, which are always coming in handy when you're working on intricate little designs. You need your paints. Definitely go for your primary colors. If you need to choose between any colors, make sure you have yellow, blue and red, because basically these three colors make every color of the rainbow. So if you've got them, you can make anything. That and white. White is always good to have as well. Make sure you have your mixing palette handy. If you don't have a big one like me, you can use a plate, a tray, or a lid of a recyclable container. And yeah, let's begin. So I'm just going to show you what we've got here. Picasso style, let me just run through it with you. His style was Cubist, and it was a real shock back in the day when he first created, and while we're doing this, let's just put our paint on our mixing palette. So yellow, blue and red, or any color you need or would like is fine, but those three are the main ones. So yeah, in the early 20th century, Picasso was around, and prior to that, oh gosh, this one's not going to open, okay. Prior to that was really Impressionism and Romanticism kind of painting, where the style was very realist and very pretty, and then Picasso came along and just threw a spanner in the works, and with his like crazy angular sharp edges in his style of painting, and you could tell what it was. It was a good representative of all of his subjects, but just not in a realistic style. So it was very controversial when he first came out. All right, so first thing you need to do, I also told you guys, if you have a photo that you're working from, now's a good time to get it out. Mine, I'm just going to show you and of course it doesn't need to be exactly like that, but this is what I'm working from here, a photo of myself, and this is another one that I've worked on, which is from the same photo, but obviously quite different today, and yours again will be different, but awesome, I'm sure of it. So first thing you do, yes, you've got your paints. I've got my paints on the palette. I'm even going to put some white down as well. Oh God, be careful, it can go everywhere. First thing you do though, is you grab a grey lead pencil and lightly draw down your face. I would recommend a side profile, because that is the kind of style that Picasso generally worked with. I'm going to just show you some photos here as well for an example. So yeah, side profile, because then we're going to draw the eyes in a different kind of view, but here is an example. So even if you don't have a photo, you can just make it up on the spot. But as you can see here, what you need is the nose on the side, and yeah, create like a side profile. So pretend you're looking, or your subject is looking to one side, and just do that. And then you can go ahead and draw in a couple of eyes. These two here are looking straight forward, but his general style is one eye looking out in the direction of the side profile, and then the other eye is looking straight ahead, just to confuse the situation. So, like I've done there. Have a go at drawing yourself in a side profile, softly on your white paper or your canvas. I'm using white paper today. The only difference will be that the paint may not mix as well, I guess, and it might absorb into the paper a little bit more and dry much quicker than if it was on canvas, but that's okay. So And then, so I'm just going to show you what I've got here. I don't know if you can see that. It doesn't have to be exact, it's just a real simple sketch. Then go ahead and add your eyes and your nose. He tended to also, I'm just going to show you, put a couple of nostrils in, but not really showing an outline of the nose. So he used to work with a lot of geometric shapes as well. So we're going to add those in. So first we're going to do our eyes. And I would recommend doing a backward eye. As in this one here, I've gone and drawn backwards. So as if it was looking that way. There's no right or wrong here. Anything goes. It's cubist. It's almost abstract, so we can just do whatever we want here. And it's quite different for me to be doing this style as well, because generally I paint realism. So it's like really pushing my own boundaries, which is fun. You want to make sure you've drawn in some eyebrows as well. The subjects of his paintings, his portraits, were quite often his mistresses, because he was a bit of a Casanova, the good old Picasso, and he had quite a few mistresses, it seemed. Yeah. So, good old Picasso. All right, so I've just drawn in a couple of eyes and nostrils. And now what you want to do is draw in some abstract shapes. So circles, triangles on the face. And that is like going to add to the cheekbones and add to what we're going to actually paint. We're going to paint some shapes on the face. Circles are great. Lines, you know, split your face down the middle and paint one quarter orange, and you know, you can paint another quarter, another colour. See how it works, how you go with that. Hope you've all got some music going on in the background to get those creative juices flowing. Of course, this is all your own style. So, yeah, Picasso is an inspiration, and yes, you have a little reference that you can work from, but it all comes down to your individual technique and style. So now you can see I've just gone and drawn some different line work. Circles, triangles. I've gone and drawn some lines straight down the center. I'm going to put another triangle, I think. Yep. Okay, now my photo has a hat, but you can also obviously draw yourself without a hat, or you can draw yourself with something else in your hair, like a headband, or you can just make up a hat. Whatever you like. So you just go ahead and draw something on the top of it. Draw in some waves for your hair, or if it's short hair, just a little bit of hair on the side. Go ahead and look at your photo again to double check that reference. Okay. So once you've done that, pop your grey lid to the side. We're going to get our largest brush. Now, I'm just not sure where you guys are at in terms of your colour knowledge, but yellow and red make orange, yellow and blue make green, and blue and red make purple. So if you need any help, you can also look up on Google how to make a colour, but yeah, that's the basic. So choose a colour. We're going to add a little bit of water to our brush choose a colour, and then lightly just paint your whole canvas or paper in a really soft colour of your choice. This is basically to seal your paper, seal your canvas, and then we go ahead and paint right on top of that. So it doesn't matter what colour, and because you're kind of mixing your brush a little bit with water as well, so it's not too thick, it doesn't matter what colour, because you can paint over it, but this is sort of just a sealer. And the colouring can be nice and mixed. I'm just going to show you. It doesn't have to be all even. In fact, it looks a bit better sometimes when you do mix your colours. Hope you're all having a great day wherever you are or whatever you're doing. I mean, it's such a crazy time in isolation, but thank goodness we can still keep active and still, you know, push our minds, our creative minds, to try something new, get involved in different activities at home. Okay, so once you've completely covered your page like so, now is the time to really start to apply a thick layer of paint for your background. So my background was originally green and full of nature, so I'm going to kind of keep it abstract and blurry. And similar to this one, I'm going to keep it within the green range, but I kind of like this orangey yellow look, so I'm going to keep a little bit of yellow and orange as well. So what you need to do is just, so when I say applying it thickly, I mean there's less water in your brush and more paint, if that makes sense. Yeah, give that a go. Oh, now I've got blue, which I did not want. Oopsies. The good thing about acrylic is it's really easy to mix up colours and blend when it's still wet, and you can get that really beautiful texturized look. And the thicker you apply the paint, the better with acrylic. Definitely, you want to keep it nice and thick. So when you're applying the paint onto your face, I've got a few examples here of Picasso's different portraits. So, oh, it's hard to see. Okay, so you can see that they are not realistic colours. They're all really random. Most of them are yellow or green, and they have blues and pinks and oranges. So just choose a skin tone. Maybe stick with something yellowy to choose for your skin. And once you've really thickly applied your background, then you can start to paint in your face. But first, we work from background to midground to foreground. In no matter what technique, what style you're painting with, always work from the furthest ground and then build your way up gradually. It's just so therapeutic. Love it. You will probably need to apply more paint to your palette soon. Like myself. coffee here that I'm drinking, so I hope you've got your drink nearby. How good is coffee? Okay. So I hope you can see the difference there between like a thinly applied paint and thick. So the background is coming along. And notice how I really like different kind of textures in my background, and it's not just one flat color. So give it a go. See what happens when you add a splash of red and how that kind of, or a splash of blue, and how you can really, nicely blend that in. Beautiful. Okay, so with your medium brush or your kind of smaller brush, I would start to paint the skin now. I'm going to stick with the usual, the yellow kind of tone, just like Picasso. In fact, it might even pay to use a smaller brush, I'm finding. Anyway. It always helps to have some napkins or paper towel nearby as well, because if you do make a mistake with acrylic, all you need to do is wet your paper towel and just gently wipe it across your surface and it will erase the last layer. Works better with canvas, obviously, because the paper kind of absorbs the color a little bit more, but at least with the paper, if you do make a mistake, it will dry quicker and then you can just paint over it. So go ahead and do that. This is a fun one to do with any kids at home as well. I know that the schools are closed at the moment, so maybe if you're a parent, you're going a little bit mad at home, doing a lot of homeschooling, but this is a fun one to do at any age level. Okay, so as you can see, I've just painted my face really yellow and plain. Now I'm going to start adding or painting different coloured shapes onto it, and then painting in the eye and any other shapes on the face. So choose any colour you like to paint in your shapes. You can also be adventurous and blend the shapes as well. So you know, you don't have to choose just a flat colour to apply for your shapes. I think it's always good to have your lips nice and, you know, not natural, but red, bright red or pink. I think, unless you want it to be inconspicuous, then you can keep it yellow. But yeah, see how you go with that. It's interesting painting on paper. It's not as effective, but it still works, so don't worry. Colours to avoid. White is it attracts so much attention, so I don't generally use a lot of white, block white, or black. Black is like my big, don't do it. But Picasso does use black around his eyes, so maybe you want to experiment with using a little bit of black. It's totally fine. How are those shapes coming along? Just going to update you just with a couple of shapes that I'm filling in. I've got my lips. Gradually but slowly it all comes together. Make your eye colour nice and bright as well. Why not? If you need to make brown, you basically combine quite a lot of blue, a little bit of red, and a tiny bit of yellow, and that will give you brown. And to make black, you also, it's kind of like a dark version of brown. So lots of blue, little tiny bit of red, and barely any yellow, just a tiny bit of yellow. Maybe you want to do your nostrils in like a dark brown or dark blue. I'm going with a dark blue. Maybe you want to do your eyebrows in a nice dark colour as well. So gradually but slowly, I've just done the eye, a couple of eyebrows. It's looking a bit crazy, but that's what cubism is, and it's allowed. I think all masterpieces have a little bit of crazy in them. All artists have a bit of crazy in them as well. want to outline your eyes, because as you can see, Picasso does tend to outline his eyes. If you can see. Okay, yeah, so eyebrows are dark, outline of the eyes are dark. But just to avoid messiness, probably leave the outlining to last. I'm just taking a risk. If you want to take a risk, take a risk. But it's sort of really hard to come back after you've used black or dark. That's the only problem. And I've just gone and smudged it with my hand, and that happens, just be careful. Okay. I'm going and adding some green onto my face just to change it up. Why not? Don't forget to keep your brushes a little bit damp, not too wet, because otherwise you'll be painting with dry bristles and it just doesn't have that same effect. How are you going with those shapes? Just add a few more shapes in for fun. Crazier the colours, the better. I'm going to put some orange. Love a bit of orange. Oh, I love it when it doesn't turn to brown, because I tend to avoid cleaning my brush and then you get these horrible khaki colours. Don't do that. Just don't be lazy. Just clean your brush. You get a nice crisp colour. Actually, this orange isn't bad. And with your hair as well, it also doesn't need to be a realistic colour. You can use and experiment with any colour for the hair. So I've just decided I'm going to add some orange to my hair colour. Why not? And when you start with your hair, it's always nice to have lots of texture. So once you start, make sure you keep applying colour to it while it's wet, so then you get that nice blended look. I've just gone a little bit crazy and thrown in some red to the hair. Whoa, it's intense. but it surely does dry a lot quicker on paper, so just something to be wary of. It's more difficult to blend, that's for sure. Oh, I love the colours when they pop. Picasso was very vibrant with a lot of his colours and chosen colours for his paintings, so don't be afraid to use some crazy colours. Don't be afraid to let it look a little bit messy as well, why not? So as you can see, my hair is starting to take place now, and there's a lot of blending there. Okay, so I'm also painting the background. I don't know if you can see here, but you can see in the foreground, this is the closest part to you, that side, and then whatever's in the midground. So this is also the hair of the portrait. It's a little bit lighter, just to create the illusion of depth and distance. And also the detail is diminishing it slightly over there, so the viewer obviously thinks, okay, that's further away. So when you're painting like any hair or anything in the sort of midground, just make sure that it's a little bit more pale in colour, a little less defined, and it will look like it's further away from the viewer, which is what you want. So I'm going to go for a pale colour just to create that the distinctive difference in the hair. What have I done? Oops. I will do white for the teeth though. If you are painting teeth, I'd stick to white. Just a safer option. You don't want it to look like there's anything in the teeth or that they're rotting or something, so just stick with white. update so far. See, it's slowly coming together. And of course, as you go, if you don't like something as well, you can just wait for it to dry and then go over it, or it's always good to stand back as well. So pop your work maybe a couple of meters in front of you and then take a good look at it from afar, and you'll notice, okay, I need to fix that part and I need to make more of a contrast in that part. Maybe my face, even looking at mine now, my background is very similar to the face color, so I think I'm going to have to change the background again, but that's okay. Go ahead and draw in your hat or your whatever's in your hair, or you can just finish off the hair and try and add a lot of texture to it as well. Texture as in paint color variation. That's what I mean by that. Remember to look at your photo reference every now and again. I've completely forgotten about mine, but it does help. And of course, it's all about improvisation, right? Going with your instincts. I'm all about that. Not just in art, but in life in general. Hell yeah. If you listen to yourself and your body, it will always know what to do, what's right for you, that is. Nobody else, just for you. And you can just chill out and have some fun. Just be daring and bold. Add some red into your bright coloured green hat. Add some blue into your hair. Just experiment. Go a bit wild, a bit nuts. And there you go. There's a nice hat for you. And to keep it realistic looking, look at your photo and notice where there's any shadowing. For me, there will be shadowing underneath the hat, so I'm going to add a darker colour just to add to the 3D effect of my artwork, I guess. There's also a little bit of shadowing underneath the chin, and be careful not to add too much because it is very heavy. And now's the time to then add your outline in your dark chosen colour if you haven't done that already. You can add outlines to some of it or all of it. It's totally up to you as well. You definitely don't have to add outlines to everything. now I've gone and done a little bit too much. See, you can overdo it as well. I'm not quite sure I'm happy with that darkness in the hair, so I might just wait for it to dry and make it a little bit lighter. We'll just add some red right now. Oopsie. Oh, now I've gone and made it green. Okay, so you don't want to overdo it. Oh, something I tend to do quite a lot. Sometimes you just gotta know when to quit it while you're ahead and not overdo the colour. That's okay. Totally fine. I quite liked it before. Where's my orange? So, anyway, I'm going to leave mine at that. So, again, something like this, or my paper one, you can see there's not as much depth, but still quite effective and Picasso styled. Show me yours, I'd love to see them. Tag me, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook under Chantelle Tranchina. And I'd love to see your artwork, your finished products. So I look forward to hearing from you guys, and I hope you had fun. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I'll catch you guys soon. Take care.